This episode of the Made in Spain podcast is powered by GoCo Energy, clean natural energy for life at the speed of Go. Welcome everyone to the Made in Spain podcast. I am Laura Senior Garcia.
And I'm Nalini Sharma.
And today we're doing our first episode of season 7. Woohoo!
Yay!
So, Denia, where the Mediterranean remembers itself.
Oh, that's really nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Denia is a really special little town.
It's city.
City, yeah. It's a city.
Don't kill us, Daniel.
Yeah. It's small and it's situated sort of, it's kind of really between
Alicante and Valencia.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. We can dive into that in a second, but we've started just giving our little fresh take on things we're watching or that we've experienced or eating or doing or using right now. And you want to talk about a show that we both watched?
So we both watched Age of Attraction.
Yes.
On Netflix. And I think this one is really weird in some ways, I have to say, for me at least. Because, I watch like Love is Blind and, I kind of get hooked on those. But why don't you explain the concept of the show for those who haven't seen it?
Well, the concept is that you have people of whatever age they are, but you don't get to ask that question until you decide to have sort of a commitment after the experiment. So you it's almost like speed dating for a short period of time, where you introduce yourself to other people. You don't know how old they are. You can ask, I think, almost any question except their age.
Yeah.
Is that
so
true?
You can ask if they have kids.
Yeah.
And obviously if, someone has like, a 20-year-old child, it's going to give away a little bit of, how old they are. But I just found it really interesting that, first of all, I thought to myself, some people that are on the show are blind or something, because it's like, age, I don't think age is about like a number, or to me it's like I'm all for like friendships and relationships across different ages. It's just one more paradigm of who we are. But I think it's really funny when someone that you have a lived experience, and even your eyes show that. Like, it's not, I'm not talking about like the wrinkles or whatever. I'm talking about like the experience you've lived.
Exactly. And
they go like, oh, I could have never guessed that person was 60. I'm like, come on, like, okay, maybe not 60, but maybe 50 or something, right? And they're like shocked. And that just, I thought of like, are these people being naive or like what's going on here?
Yeah. And I think it's really funny that everybody who basically, I would say the majority of the people that, ended up in a relationship, or at least an experiment of a relationship, they all said the same thing. Oh, I'm tired of the dating scene and the apps and this, and I'm not meeting the right person, and et cetera, et cetera. And especially one particular guy that was on there, and he said, oh, my friends always laugh at me. I date the same type of girl. And
then he goes for the same type of girl in the show.
And he literally went for the exact same type of girl. And then his friends show up and they're laughing at him. They actually took bets that he would end up with the exact same type of girl, which is somebody in their 20s.
Very early 20s.
Early 20s, blonde and kind of, bubbly, which, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. But he went on the show saying he is pushing 40
or more.
I think he was, or close to 40.
Yes.
And then she said, she's like, oh my God, I had no idea he was that old. So put that into perspective that she thinks that's old.
Yeah.
And he has 2 children, 2 daughters, teenagers. So the difference between, I think, one of his children and his girlfriend is less than 10 years.
I think it was like 4 years or something. I don't know. But, and then there was another one
it's super funny.
Yeah. But one of the person I found the most genuine on the whole show was the 27-year-old guy who was dating the 55-year-old lady.
Right.
Who is like, I found he was the most genuine. Like, I felt that, this person doesn't really care about the age of the other person.
No.
And then he's having to deal with, her own house. Anyway, so I think if you're looking for something in that kind of love and outside the boundary space that you want to watch, that's a good one.
Yeah. Also, I think Farmer Wants a Wife. Just Please don't laugh at me. These are things I watch after I've contributed to society.
And then you watch Farmer Wants a Wife.
Yeah, and then lived my life and everybody is where they should be. Everything is done. And I put that on because I think it's super funny. It's human. You know, all these reality shows, it's human behavior.
Absolutely.
It's what we're watching. It's just human behavior that
we're
consuming.
It's like a social experiment. That's why I kind of like them. Yeah. And I know some people criticize them, but again, we're, just being honest here.
Yeah.
So going back to Denia.
Okay, let's start our episode.
There is a city on the Costa Blanca that sits between a castle and the sea, and it has been continuously inhabited for 3,000 years.
Okay.
It is a UNESCO creative city of gastronomy, and it has a very special secret garden.
Right, and we're going to get to that in just a second. Do you want to talk us through the history of it a little bit, Laura?
Okay. I have been having nightmares about having to say this word, but I'm going to give it a try. So Denia was founded by the Greeks, which is interesting because, not a lot of cities here were founded by the Greeks. Some of them were founded by the Romans, etc.
Right.
And it was called Emeroskopeion.
That's good.
Yeah, more or less. I think I got that.
Yeah.
And it was a watchtower city,
right?
Looking out to the sea across the Mediterranean. And then the Romans renamed it Dianium after Diana, the goddess of the hunt. And from there, the name Denia evolved.
That's really nice.
Yes.
I bet you people in Denia don't know that.
Maybe not.
Or at least some.
And something funny, the name Diana, the goddess the city was named after, is the root of the English name Diana and the French Diane. So in a small way, every Diana you ever met is named after the city of Denia.
That's really interesting. And Denia is it's a very beautiful, accessible city. Would you consider it a city?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
So every reference that we looked at calls it a city, Ciudad de Denia, a city of 45,000 people once governing islands hundreds of kilometers away. And this is when it was under the Moorish period.
Okay.
So it's just fascinating. There's so much history to it. There is a castle above the town. It does contain layers of Greek, Roman, Moorish, and Christian history. So interesting, the Alhambra, I think, was Roman, Moorish, and Christian. This kind of takes that further layer of the Greeks as well.
Okay.
So basically you can walk through 2,500 years of history in an hour. And the funny thing is, when we knew we were going to go to Denia, I mentioned to Nalini, would you be interested in taking a Segway tour? Yeah. Which her answer was like, absolutely not. Leave me on the horses. So that's one of the reasons we decided not to visit the castle. But it's that we saw the castle, we just didn't visit it. But there is a Segway tour that you can take to actually go up to the castle, etc. And I've actually done that in Alicante, and it's quite recommendable.
Yeah, and I mean, after we spent the day there and on the way home, I think I would have done it after the fact because it wasn't that busy when we went. It was actually, we went at a good time. I think in the middle of the summer, if you have a lot of tourists and stuff, it might be overwhelming. But the time of the year that we were there and the particular afternoon, it was just perfect. Now, the port, you have a beautiful port, marina, and you have many times you get some of the super yachts that park their vessel there. Denia is also the area and I never seen it until the last time we went, the ferry that takes you over to the Balearic Islands.
So Ibiza, Mallorca, on a daily basis, multiple ferries.
Yes.
We did have a bit of a debate about this when we were there because, interestingly enough, the ferry is almost more expensive depending on when you buy the ticket than your airplane rides. And it takes more than double the time. And if the water is a bit choppy, even though it's a big ferry, you can still feel it.
No, you're feeling it. I think it's super funny to me that when you book a flight to Mallorca, for example, so I have flown to Mallorca, by the way, for €7.
Like 7?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not in high season.
Yeah.
I mean, one way, not return, one way, and no bags as well. Okay. There's no bags. You get your purse, that's
a sandwich.
It. Yeah. You get on the plane. But honestly, you can fly to mostly Palma. Menorca tends to be more expensive and also seasonal, and obviously Ibiza and Formentera. But I've gone for next to nothing to spend a night or a day even. You can take a day trip and go to Mallorca. And when you're on the plane and you look down, you pass the ferry. Like you fly over the ferry, you see them going. I mean, listen, they do a brisk business, and I think maybe it's for people who have to commute or
they want to take their car.
I think that's the other big thing, is that people who want to take their car, it's a lot more affordable to drive there, put your car on, and especially if you're going to spend an extended period there. I think it would probably be for people who work. Yeah. Maybe from the islands and work somewhere here, because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
It used to be cheaper. Yeah. Somewhere along the line, it was the cost was way less. But I can tell you, having been to Ibiza on a, let's say, fairly upbeat weekend, right, and then taking the ferry back is not an experience I wish upon anyone. It's not good. And I don't get seasick. But yeah, that ferry is an interesting ride. No. And then there's another thing that's really relevant about Denia is the gambas rojas.
Okay.
They're red prawns.
Yeah, red prawns.
Yeah, the red prawns from Denia are famous all over Spain. I don't know if they're famous outside of Spain, but they're very unique. The intensity and the sweetness of the prawn is completely like no other. So, and there they usually do recommend that you eat the head or suck the head of the prawn or, which I've always found it disturbing. I always find when I watch people do that with the prawn heads, it's like you're watching an alien movie or something.
Yeah,
I
would. Yeah.
I'm not into it, but a lot of people do that here.
And the prawns are quite pricey. They're expensive.
They're very expensive. I don't even know what the market price is today, but it's upwards of 100 euros a kilo at a good restaurant. And the fishermen go out at night, and the prawns put the prawns on the table in the morning. Right. So it's not like, freshness is a real has to be a part of this.
Right.
I will say that you really have to know where you're going. You have to do your research, because if not, there's a high likelihood that you're going to be given prawns that they tell you are from there, but they end up being from Namibia or somewhere much more cost effective.
I think once you see that particular type of prawn, you know what it should look like.
Yes.
It has a very distinctive look to it.
Yes, it does. And always watch out for like the color of the prawn. It has to be like red.
Yeah.
Because they've got like a greenish undertone. Yeah. Sometimes they put these like preservatives on it, and it really kind of ruins the experience. I will say, I am not a prawn lover. It's something that if I have to, I'll eat it, but I'm not huge on prawns. They remind me of like sea insects. So it's like I always look at them and I'm like, I don't know. And I don't even want to say what kind of insect, because I don't want to ruin prawns for everyone for the rest of your life, but they do remind me of sea insects. So I'm not huge on prawns.
We had a really nice lunch when we were there. Yes. And I thought, we've talked about this before, but the noodle version of paella is fideuà.
Fideuà. And your Spanish accent is like totally there.
No, it's not. But anyway, that's a whole other issue. But it does not come from Denia. It's actually from Gandia.
Yes. However, a lot of people think it comes from Denia.
Okay, because it's a port town. Yeah. And the origin story of it, in a nutshell, is that a cook named Gabriel Rodriguez Pastor was on a fishing boat, and I guess he had to make food for the crew, ran out of the particular rice to make paella, and decided to use short noodles instead. Yeah. That's the kind of history behind it. Yeah. And it was born out of that, and it's become a staple. But you will see on most of the menus in Denia, it is sort of a staple and kind of the star of the show.
Apparently, Gandia actually holds a fideuà competition.
Oh, really?
Which I think is quite interesting. And the socarrat, that we've talked about with the paella, that happens with the noodles also. You get that like burnt piece at the bottom.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. I mean, the place where we went, I thought it was delicious. I think it was Agua del Mar.
Yes.
Agua del Mar. So like Agua de Mar, which is like water from the sea.
Yeah.
And very good service. Great place to have a fideuà. Anywhere, I think in the port, you're probably going to get a fairly good product. But as mentioned, I would do the research, look at the reviews. It's worth it if you're going to have an experience, to make sure you get the best possible experience. And yeah, the port, I think, is a great place to have a fideuà and some cava maybe.
Yeah, and I would say for anybody traveling to Denia, for example, it is a place that's a little bit more upscale.
Yes.
It doesn't mean every restaurant is expensive, but it is a slightly more upscale place to have lunch. So just a recommendation that maybe dress the part.
Yes.
You don't have to be super dressed up, but
it's
it is
not
Benidorm.
Nice.
No, it is definitely not Benidorm. But also here, I find people always dress up for lunch.
Yeah, it's a thing, particularly at the weekend.
Yeah,
it's almost like nice. You wear your Sunday outfit.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's nice to be in a kind of environment like that.
Yeah. So Denia, food, castle, history, the port. A little trip from Ibiza, but one little gem that we found.
This is super special.
Was the Jardín de la Albarda.
Yes.
So you want to talk to us a little bit about that, Nalini?
All right. So when we were planning our day trip to Denia, we were thinking of things to do. I said no to the Segway. So this sort of came up on just, a little bit of research. And maybe for a lot of people, they would think, oh, yeah, I want to go to the port or, see the castle and be directly in, right at the water. But if you just drive a little further out, there's this, I really think it's a secret garden.
Yeah, it is.
It's a secret garden. It's so spectacularly beautiful.
It's very special.
It's very special. And I can guarantee you that if I asked 10 people that have lived here their entire life, they would not have gone to it.
Yeah, it's very, very unique. And when we were looking for activities to do in Denia, and this came up, I swear I didn't actually know it existed.
Right. I mean, it's not as if the average person is looking for a botanical garden to walk around on a Saturday morning. That's not maybe a search you put in Google. It might just be top things to do. I would hope this is populated somewhere along the, the suggestions, because it is run by, I would say it's sort of like a collective.
It's a foundation.
Right.
Fundem, I think it's called. And I believe they have like 1,000 patrons.
Yes.
And it was funny because when we walked in, we thought, what a great place for a wedding or an event. And we're all excited, go up there and we're like, hey, so do you do like events or weddings here? And the woman's like, no.
No, they do have concerts though.
They have concerts and they have certain days of the year that they do like their own hosted events, but they do not rent out the space for that. It's really a conservation oriented garden, and it's very, very special. Like they even have like this greenhouse that they give a whole little tour and history of, where initially they were going to bring botanical elements and plants from Latin America. Right. But the owner who originally had this place decided that was not natural. So they decided to go a different direction. And the greenhouse actually houses a lot of autochthonous or, from the region, plants and species. So and also the orange blossom is all around.
Oh my God. It's really, really special. It's like you're stepping into, I don't know, like this little paradise. And the funny thing about the garden is it is located in a residential area.
Yes. So when you're driving up, you're going, there's no way that we're going in the right direction, which seems to be a theme here. But it's only €7 to go in on a weekday and €9 at the weekend. There's plenty of parking. I think it's a nice place to visit as a family.
100%. And you can take pictures. They also offer a photography service for €100 up to 5 people. You have to book it in advance, but you can have professional photos taken there. I think they give you maybe an hour and a half of time, which I mean, realistically, you don't need.
Affordable.
It's very affordable. So if you want to do engagement photos, we saw a couple there doing their wedding photos. like even a family photo. I think it's a spectacular place to go. You dress really nice. You pay your €100, book it in advance, take some beautiful memories, and then you can go for lunch in the port.
Yeah, if you're a content creator looking for someone aesthetic, to shoot nice pictures, it's a great visit. And you're still contributing through your ticket to the conservation of the garden.
Yeah, and it's also very educational. You can book a tour. There are tour guides that will take you through and explain all the different types of trees and vegetation that they have. The greenhouse that they have, the construction of it is very interesting because it almost looks like
a coliseum.
Yeah, it's like an amphitheater in a way. I don't know if it was originally built to host performances or something, because the way it's, circular and you have it graduated down and then the main stage area, I feel maybe originally that was its purpose. I mean, they just have plants all over the place now.
Yeah, so the plants are watching the show.
Yeah, but it would make acoustically, I think, a fantastic location for a concert.
Yeah.
And the day we went, the following day, they were hosting I think, classical music performance in the garden.
Yeah.
So that too would be something really special.
So let's talk about how to do Denia, kind of summarize it.
Okay.
So you could stay in the old town if you want atmosphere and walking distance to everything, or the port area if you want waterfront energy.
Yeah, I think that you can do the castle. You can, Denia is very walkable as well. I mean, at least the center of it. You can do the castle. You would have to drive to the garden. But then, you do the castle, you do the garden, and you head back for a nice late lunch or early dinner in the port or surrounding area.
You can also do day trips from there. So you can go to Javia, which is not far away at all, like under 15 minutes. And that's one of the most beautiful bays in the whole coast. Calpe is about 20 minutes. And the Jalón Valley, which we mentioned just in the last episode, is about 25 minutes. So if you want to learn more about the Jalón Valley, we just did that in our last episode of season 6.
Okay. And then you can also take the tram from Denia to Alicante. It's slow. It's not super slow. It moves fast enough that you'll get there in a reasonable amount of time. And yeah, it just goes along the coast. I think really pretty picturesque. And, you can head into Alicante or vice versa. You can go from Alicante into Denia. So if you're staying there, either direction.
I think that's the last stop, Denia and Alicante. So you can go from one side to the other.
Yeah. How long would it be? Maybe
I think that's
2 hours.
Yeah, it's got to be a while because you're stopping like boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, and it's a tram. It's not a train. It's a tram.
It's a little tram. So sometimes you won't even have a seat. But,
yeah,
it's definitely worth considering that. So some fun facts before we go to our slice of life. The gamba roja that we mentioned, the red prawn, has its own protected geographical indication.
Ooh,
so that's kind of an interesting one.
Next fact is that Denia was designated as a UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy in 2015 and celebrated its 10th anniversary. And I mean, when you think about it, the official population is about 45,000 people. That is a fantastic designation.
And last fun fact, the castle at Denia actually contains a toy museum. That's one of the largest collections of traditional Spanish toys, which I have no idea what that looks like in terms of traditional Spanish toy in the country. And it's housed inside an ancient fortress. So very charming, a little unsettling. And depending on, especially on our experience at the Jalón market, it'd be interesting to see what those toys look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about fideuà. That is a must-have, I would think, on your stop in Denia, even though it was originally invented in Gandia. Gandia or Gandia?
Gandia.
Gandia.
I think there's a acento or like a tilde on the I. Gandia.
Oh, all right. I've been to Gandia many times.
Yeah, that's a whole different one.
That's a whole other subject. So
I find Gandia is a bit of a strange city, very seasonal. But
yeah, very seasonal. But yeah, all right, slice of life.
Slice of life. So before we dive into our slice of life, quick shout out to our amazing partner, GoCo Energy. You have to try this.
That's right, Laura. GoCo is energy done right. Made with coconut water, natural caffeine, and real fruit flavors. No crash, no jitters, just clean, feel-good energy that actually tastes amazing.
It's perfect, right? Whether you're working, traveling, or just keeping your creative spark alive, basically it keeps you in that go mode.
I agree. I'm not necessarily a fan of all energy drinks, but this is one that I truly enjoy. My favorite flavor so far is pineapple, and you can order it straight from gocoenergy.com. That's GOKO energy.com. Shipped right to your door.
So hydrating, refreshing, and honestly, it just makes everything flow better. Slice of life.
Slice of life. We're having coffee and cake, and this is in honor of our garden that we went to in Denia, outside of Denia, technically, but very close to it. And the cutest thing I think about the garden, the secret garden, is that they have a little cafe in the center of it, and you just kind of walk up to it. It's set in this little beautiful walkway, and you ring a bell for service. So if the girl's not there, you can ring this little bell and she comes. It's just a window. And when your little coffee or breakfast is ready or cake, they ring the bell to let you know that your order is up, and then you take it to your table in the garden and you enjoy it. So they had beautiful cakes. I saw a lot of people having that. We had a
carrot cake they had.
Yeah, a nice breakfast we had. So in honor of them, we're having a little slice of cake.
Yes. We did not bring the cake from the garden because that would mean we'd be eating rotten cake
by now. Yeah. But I'm having red velvet and you're having chocolate.
Yes. And these are actually from
your cafe.
Yeah. Family cafe, Valentina's coffee shop. Actually, I didn't think I was going to eat much of this chocolate cake, but it is really, really good. So I'll just take one more bite.
Nice.
How's the velvet cake?
Really nice.
Awesome. So in today's Slice of Life, we're going to talk about something a little different that we're going to do next Friday. So, next Friday is the flower moon, which is the blue, and we're going to do the Blue Lotus ceremony.
Okay.
So a lady from Soul Flow Holistics reached out to us, and we are super excited about this experience. I don't think it's the thing that we usually do.
No.
It's very different. And it's an evening, it's an intimate ceremonial journey where everybody's invited to slow down, open and deeply reconnect with ourselves. So there's going to be soft yoga to gently relax and arrive kind of fully present and in the moment. Then we're going to have an energetic cleansing to purify our energy and create the space. By the way, all of this is going to happen in like a yurt. Is that what you call it?
A yurt? Really?
Yes, it's called the yurt in Javia.
Okay.
So it's like a big teepee or like a tent.
Yeah.
So we're going to so we're going to be doing it in there.
Okay.
And then the heart of the evening, we're going to share Blue Lotus tea.
Right.
Hopefully it's not laced with anything, because this is sounding quite hippie, but, I think it's going to be really interesting. And it's really a moment to open our hearts and invite kind of turning inward. And even though this is not something that we usually do, I think that it's so helpful sometimes to just slow down, because whatever you're doing in your life, it feels like all of us are running from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and you don't connect with your body sometimes.
No, and also I just think connect with your thoughts, and the fact that we are booked in to do it, on a particular day at a particular time.
On a Friday evening.
Yeah, on a Friday evening, you have to set that intention that you're going to be there, you're going to participate in it. The reality is a lot of things here socially involve alcohol, which
this doesn't.
It does not. A Friday evening to take that moment for yourself. I'm actually really looking forward to it.
Same here.
Because I really believe the moon governs us.
I believe and deeply, have felt it that, the moon phases. And if you think about it, it affects the sea levels.
It affects animals.
So how is it not going to affect us? Where if it affects the sea and we are, such a large percentage of our human body is made up of water.
Right.
How is it not going to impact us? So I think it's going to be really interesting. And the evening actually closes with a deep sound healing.
Okay.
Which is what this lady from Soulflow Holistics is actually known for. She's like a sound healer. So they use the different sound healing tools and the, Tibetan bowls and all of that.
Right.
So honestly, I am so looking forward to it. I think it's so like a relaxation, piece that sometimes is missing in our life. When I speak about myself, like really it's so hard to just be present and stop.
And to stop and just to, go inward sometimes, because I think we're always looking outwards of what other people are doing and wearing and experiencing. And there's this, I think just now as a society, everybody's afraid of missing something, that you always need to be connected. And it's not about disconnecting, but actually using that energy to connect with yourself, and find a little bit of peace, or at least a moment of clarity.
And even intentional breathing. So that's something that to me is quite fascinating, because I read somewhere the other day that there's this thing called email apnea, which I thought was hilarious. But if you think about when we're on our phone and you're kind of scrolling, or you're looking at your emails, or you're looking at your messages, many times we're actually holding our breath in.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, and then you realize you're like, oh my goodness, I'm not breathing. So, because you're reading, or you're kind of that tension. So they call it like email apnea.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that.
I can even realize it right now. It's like, just taking a deep breath, being present, being in the moment. So I'm looking forward to going in there with the intention of just connecting with my body, because a lot of times I'm in my head, not in my body.
Right.
I know that sounds kind of weird, but
no, that sounds super exciting. I did, when I was in Toronto, I did a sound healing at this yoga.
What did you feel?
I wasn't I didn't really know what I was going into. I signed up for the class and I went, or the experience, and I just, and I did it. It was in the dark as well.
Ooh.
So the room was quite dim and heated. It's hard in those situations not to kind of just drift off and fall asleep, which some people do, I think. But it was, when you're finished, you feel very relaxed, very centered, and just very much at peace, which I think maybe is the normal way for people to feel. It's just that we have so many outside influences on us all day and stimuli that this has become the norm of how you should feel. And the opposite way is probably more natural to us.
It is. And sometimes, you talk about a digital detox. I'm looking forward to going in there without my phone. Like just, just not having to pay attention to who's calling, who's messaging. You just realize that we are so hooked on our devices that it is an interesting moment to reflect. So next Friday, we're going to be in a yurt with a bunch of people we don't know, laying down, trying to connect with ourselves. So we're looking.
I've never been in a yurt.
Me neither. This is our yurt experience.
It's another first for us.
It's our first yurt experience in the Costa Blanca, which I may say, again, may not be the first place you think about. When you think about these kind of things, it's not like, we're taking a trip to India or anything.
No, we're driving 25 minutes up the coast.
Exactly. So that was our little slice of life.
Yeah.
We look forward to sharing with you on socials what that looks like. So we'll use our phone for a little bit just to show you what it's like. And let's finish with our sentence of the day.
Okay.
So very much with the theme of what we just discussed, the sentence of the day is vivir despacio.
Live slowly.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And if you're thinking about going to Denia, I think thinking about a slow holiday where you're not running around and seeing a bunch of things and just taking in that energy from the Mediterranean is a great way to frame it.
Absolutely. Cheers to that, Laura.
Bye for now.
The Made in Spain podcast is fueled by GoCo Energy, refreshingly real energy that keeps the good vibes going.